Good morning, dear students. How are you? Today we will study your English reader third lesson. We already studied the second lesson, one poem. Then third lesson is a simple story. I have written the heading of the title of the story on the board. You can listen. A boy judge. A boy judge. It is very interesting and a simple story but a long story. One paragraph we can study. We can directly go to the class due to the time limitation. If you have a book, you take this book also in your hand and just touch the lines. Take your book. If you watch the videos, you should arrange your books. Okay. First I will read the first paragraph, then I will explain the story. English story. Now you are studying in 6th class. 6th class means middle section, first class of the middle section. 5th class means the last year you had studied in a primary section. But 6th class means one more promotional period. 6th means the first class of the middle session. Middle session means 6th, 7th and 8th classes. So your course content is more compared to primary. Primary sessions, primary session course and middle session course both are different. So you should study seriously and also improve your English language, that is important. But in this English subject is very simple English in this lesson. Then I am also talking in English. You just watch what I am saying in English. Then I will use a simple English for your understanding of the story and other English. Then if you watch what I am saying, if you listen what I am saying, you can also easily study the English. English is very difficult for study international language. Every sentence has a meaning, every sentence has a structure. That structure is based upon some certain grammar rules. Then if you talk anything, there is a grammar also behind every sentence. And listen my words, listen my sentences, listen the words of the teachers, and you can easily study English language. So I will not use any of the Hindi word during the explanation time, but you can easily understand English also. So try to for the best. Then listen. Once upon a time, 3 thieves who had stolen a pot of gold in a distant town were returning to their village. They were passing through a small town when it grew dark. Their village was a long way off. Their chief said to the others, I don't know whether we can reach our village safely with all this gold. Let us stay for the night in some house here in this town. His friends also thought that this was the best thing to do. Do you understand the meaning of the story? Okay, but just I will explain. Once upon a time, in English literature or story, every story begins with this sentence. One is once upon a time. Otherwise, once or one day. Every story begins with, all the stories begins with these words. Once upon a time, or once, or one day, there was a king lived, like that, starting with this. Don't forget it, every story begins with these words. If you want to write a story in English, you should also start with this word. Once upon a time, there was a lion lived in a forest, and he had a number of friends. The another important thing is that if you write a story, if you read a story, the story should, all the sentences in a story should be right in past tense, present tense, past tense and future tense. But a story we should write in past tense. Don't forget it. So the verb in this all the sentences should be in past tense. Don't forget. Then once upon a time, three thieves in this picture. You can see in this picture. Here is a picture. In this picture you can see the three thieves. 1, 2, 3. Three thieves. Then what was the work of the thieves? Thief. 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 This one. Thieves. Thief. Thieves. Singular and plural. One thief. Three thieves. This is a singular and this is plural. Thief. What is the work of the thief? Their work is only store to take the others materials or things, money, gold, anything. That was the work of the thief. Once upon a time, there were three thieves who had stolen a pot of gold in a distant town, were returning to their village. They are the very friends. The thieves, they are very friends. They are very close friends. One day they went into the city to stolen something, and one day they got a pot of gold. In this picture we can see a pot here, and inside the pot full of gold, they got a gold in that day. They stolen that pot of gold, and with the pot of gold they returning to their village. Actually their house is in village. They are staying in village. Their home is in village. The night time, they came in the town. The number of houses are situated in a city or town. And the three thieves, they came from the village to the city or to the town to steal. And one day they got a pot of gold, PUT, pot of gold. And after getting the pot of gold, the three thieves, they are going to return to their village. In a distant town means a more distance, dur. Their village and the city very distant. Gold in a distant town were returning to their village. Now they are returning their village with the pot of gold. They were passing through the small town when it grew dark. They were passing through the village, returning time road. Around 6 o'clock time or 7 o'clock time, the dark came, the night came. They were passing through at that time, they were passing through a small city. It grew dark. Their village was a long way off. Then again you should go more distance to reach their village. That's a long way off. Their chief said to the others, how many thieves totally? 3 thieves. Out of the 3 thieves, one is a leader, monitor, one is a leader. The leader told to others, I don't know whether we can reach our village safely with all this gold. The thief, chief, and he told it to others, I have doubt in our mind, we can't reach our village with the pot of gold. It is not safe. If we take this pot of gold, if we go to our village, it is not safe to us. I don't know whether we can reach our village safely with all this gold, because gold is a precious metal. Other ornaments, high value. So with the pot of gold, it is not safe to go to our village during this night time. I don't know whether we can reach our village safely with all this gold. Let us stay for the night in some houses here in this town. So we should stay in this town. This is a small town, and some houses is also there. we should stay any of the houses here in this night. Then tomorrow morning day we will again start our journey to go to our village, because now the night dark, it grow the dark, so it is not safe to go to our village with this pot of gold. So we should stay in this small town in any of the houses. We will search for, we will ask any house owners, we will get a permission to get a permission to stay here for this night. Then tomorrow morning day we will start our journey again. Okay. The chief said to the others, I don't know whether he can reach our village safely with all this gold. Let us stay for the night in some houses here. Here means in this small town, in this town. His friends also thought that this was the best thing to do. And his other friends, how many friends? Two others also. And they also think the same. They thought that that is also good. What is a good? To stay this night in any of the house in this town. That is that will be more safe. Is it clear? Once again I will read the paragraph and everybody listen this paragraph and understand how to read this paragraph. Okay. Once upon a time, 3 thieves who had stolen a pot of gold in a distant town were returning to their village. They were passing through a small town when it grew dark. Their village was a long way off. Their chief said to the others, I don't know whether we can reach our village safely with all this gold, and let us stay for the night in some houses here in the town. And his friends also thought that this was the best thing to do. Is it understand? Then speedily we can go to the next paragraph also. They went in search of a lodging for the night. At last found an old woman who agreed to let them stay in her hut. Now none of the thieves would trust any of his companions with the pot of gold, so they decided to give it to the old woman to keep. They carefully sealed the mouth of the pot with a clay and took it to the old woman and said, please keep this with you till we ask for it. Don't give it to anyone till all 3 of us ask for it together. Listen, second paragraph, first line. They went in search of a lodging for a night. They wanted to stay. They wanted to lodge in a small city. And at last, they searched all the houses, and at last, lastly, they found an old woman. An old woman. She has a hut. Hut means a chiti. Hut means a small house. And that old woman, she was agreed. Who agreed to let them stay in her hut. The 3 thieves, they searched all the houses in the small town. Then one old lady, he is living in a small hut. She gave permission to the 3 thieves to stay with her only for that night. Yesterday, tomorrow morning day, they can go to their village. First, they found a old woman in a small hut. The next, now none of the thieves would trust any of his companions. There is a problem. They have no belief others. The chief of the thieves, he has no belief other companions. Companions means friends. Totally 3 thieves. The chief, he has no trust on others. And others case also the same thinking. And they have also, there is no trust to others. There is no belief. What is the problem? Otherwise, one person will alone take the pot of gold. That is a possibility. Now, none of the thieves would trust any of his companions with the pot of gold. So, they decided to give it to the old woman to keep. So, they decided to give the pot, gold pot, to the old woman to keep for one night. So, they decided to give it to the old woman to keep. They carefully sealed the mouth of the pot. They packed the mouth of the pot with the clay and took it to the old woman. and they gave the pot of gold to the old man and said, please keep this with you till we ask for it. Till up to, you should keep the pot of gold in your hands, in your house. Then we will ask for it. At that time, you can return to us. Please keep this with you. We will ask for it. Don't give it to anyone till all three of us ask for it together. Only one condition. Don't give this pot of gold to any one thief. We will ask together. Together means three thieves. Any time, night time or tomorrow morning time, we will come together. Then we will ask together for this pot of gold. At that time, you can give it. You can return the pot of gold. This is a condition. Please keep this with you. Will we ask for it? Don't give it to anyone till all three of us ask for it together. Is it clear? Two paragraph already explanation completed, and you should read one or two or three more times this paragraph. You can easily simple English. In that way, you can also improve your English efficiency. If you wanted to study the English, if you wanted to write or speak English, you should do the hard work. You should do something work. There is no magic to study English. To study English language, it is very difficult. So you should do the continuous hard work. You will get a very good knowledge in English. Otherwise, there is no technique. There is no magic to study English. Only continuous work. And here look, number of works. Some questions also in page number 15. First question, why did the thieves have to stay in the town for the night? This is a question, why? What is the reason? Why did the thieves have to stay in the town for the night? First paragraph you studied. What is the reason? The thieves decided to stay in the town. Why? During the night, the thieves had to stay in the town for the night because can you say the answer? Because their village was far distance. Their village was a long way off the route. This is the answer. Then why did the thieves decide to give the pot to the old man? Second paragraph, last sentence we studied it. Why? What is the reason for the thieves? Three thieves, they decided to give the pot, the golden pot to the old man. Why? The three thieves, they decided to give the pot to the old man because balance, take that page, balance, they had no belief on others. This is the reason. They have no belief on others. This we already studied the two questions. Then number 3, what were the instructions given to the old man for retaining the pot? What is the instructions? Only you should keep the pot in your hand. There is one condition. That is the instruction. You should keep the pot in your hand. Whose hand? Old woman's hand. Then what is the second condition? Don't give the pot to anyone. That's the second condition. Don't give the pot to anyone. Then third condition, we will ask together. Together means exact. We will ask together for this pot. At that time, you can give the pot. Is it clear? And the two paragraph completed. The next paragraph tomorrow we will study. You just read the story and find out the 3 answers. Don't forget, and some difficult words also. And you should study that word meaning: distant, village, thieves, safely reach, lodging, found, companions, decided, carefully, sealed, together. Number of new words for you study, and study the difficult words spelling also. That will improve your vocabulary and improve your English language. So then tomorrow we will meet again. Keep safe in your home. Thanks.